including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. Visit GetMyHomeTeams.com to learn more.
Hey, this is Jen Latta. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
What you need to know for every game to make your best bets. Will you fade or will you follow?
Welcome to the Weekly Wager.
Broadcasting live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios in Milwaukee. Alongside Ben Brust and Jen Latta, here's Greg Matzik.
Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, as Meatloaf once said in a famous song from the 1980s. Ben Brust, Greg Matzik with you. No Jen Latta. She is out on assignment. No Josh DiMaggio. He is guarding Jen Latta, bodyguard as usual. So Benny and I till 7 o'clock here tonight, leading us up to our NFL schedule selection special. NFL drops breadcrumbs. We pick them up. All you got to do is, hit send on an email, and everybody knows the schedule. But no, they draw it up for like 3 or 4 days, and we suck it all up.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of leaks, as always, leading up to the schedule release show. Some planned, some unplanned. And, if you want to search, you could probably find 10 of the 17 games for the Green Bay Packers already.
Some people do mock drafts, Ben. I do mock schedules.
Yes, I saw you put that out, but I was in the middle of Kyle Brust and Nortman, so I did not have a chance to click and read. But I look forward to hearing your results.
Okay, so I've done this since 2013. I don't know why I started it. I just tried to do it one year. And
what's the most games you've gotten correct?
4.
Oh, wow. You stink.
And that includes a bye week. Give it a shot. That's actually quite impressive, because once you get one wrong,
there's 3 to 4 games out right now that I'm sure you saw. So you're cheating.
No, but you don't. Okay, so 2013, there weren't as many leaks as there are today, right? So you'd go about it with the basic knowledge of knowing that the Packers would end their season against a division opponent, but
which
you didn't
they
know
are this
where.
year.
You just didn't know where, and you didn't know the location. You didn't know the team, right? But you had a shot. But otherwise, everything is up for grabs. There's no rhyme or reason. You knew they'd play a Thursday night game, but one year the Packers played back-to-back Thursday night games. I never would have guessed that in a million years. Nobody would have.
And to be quite honest, the 2 things that struck me right away were the Week 1 and Week 2 for the Green Bay Packers. The idea that they open up the season against the Detroit Lions. Do you have that on your bingo board?
So I had them finishing the season against the Detroit Lions.
They'll be finishing the season at the Minnesota Vikings. But Week 1, they are 1-6 in their last 7 games against the Detroit Lions. This is Matt LaFleur's first home game as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers in Week 1. What an ample opportunity after all of the conversation around this team being good, not great, not beating teams that have better records than them. Whatever happens to the Detroit Lions record in 2025, all I know is the last 2 seasons they have more wins and they have gone further in the playoffs each year the past 2 seasons than the Green Bay Packers. You got to make a statement. I know there's 16 other games, but the Lions made a statement by heading on their upward trajectory when they came into Lambeau Field in Aaron Rodgers' last game, and they watched, I believe it was the Seahawks win the 3 o'clock late game, which led to the fact that the Detroit Lions had 0 chance to make the playoffs. They still battled, and they came into Lambeau Field, and they won that game. And they've been on an upward trajectory since. That needs to change, in my opinion, for confidence, for a lot of reasons for the Green Bay Packers.
They do have a new coordinator in Detroit on the offensive side, so maybe you're catching Detroit at a pretty good time where they're still trying to figure things out a little bit. But yes, it does appear the Packers are going to open the season at home for the first time ever for Matt LaFleur during his tenure as head coach against the Detroit Lions. Let me ask you this. We're going to get to the full unwrapping and unveiling of the schedule about 7 o'clock tonight, so we'll fill in all the blanks here. Can the final schedule influence the numbers to win? Here's what I'm looking at for the Packers. Right now, their odds here at Potawatomi Sportsbook to win the NFC North are plus 275, second only to the Lions. The Vikings and Bears are a distant third and fourth. To win the NFC, plus 900. To win the Super Bowl, plus 2,000. 9.5 games, the over-under. Over, minus 122. Under, plus 100. Can those numbers change at all? I suppose the betting public's view of the Packers could change when you look at the schedule. But do you imagine any movement? You know the opponents. But if the schedule is revealed and you see, that 3-game gauntlet road trip, or, the bye week comes way too early, they're going to have all these games in a row before the end of the season, no way will they stay healthy. Can it influence numbers?
Odds makers already bake in all of those variables into the numbers, even without knowing when those games are going to fall on the schedule, because each team will have a different set of stretches that will be tough or easier based off the schedule before seeing the results. Here's one thing I always like to mention. Every single year, when we're all the king of that's a win, that's a loss, that's a win, that's a loss, as soon as the schedule comes out, last year, what was the game on the schedule before the season that everyone pinpointed? At home against the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
And when that game came, it was nowhere near the level of game or the team that they were playing.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So you can get caught up in what it looks like in May, but what it looks like in the season is going to be so different that I don't think the odds will shift other than what the betting from the public will bring. If they think they find something, they move it a little bit, but I don't foresee much change based off the way it lays out.
Typically, the results of a given game will help shape the numbers for the next game, right? We see that all the time, and trends start to develop after maybe 3 weeks, I would say, in the NFL. Here's one thing I want to point out. If you are piecing things together with the Packers schedule, and there is a line out, by the way, for opening night. We'll get to that coming up in a second. Eagles-Cowboys, September 4th. There is a line here at Potawatomi Sportsbook. The only line available right now for an NFL game
exciting.
In the regular season.
Do you know what you just did to my blood? Moving through my veins at a fast pace.
And I think this is an interesting bet. I don't know if it's my best bet. It's too far in the future for me for a best bet, but we'll get to it coming up in a second. But the schedule makers have the Packers opening the season with back-to-back home games. One against Detroit, one against Washington, if you are believing what you are seeing and reading in the world of sourced information on X and various social media platforms. Keep this in mind, though. The Packers have 8 home games and 9 road games this year. 2 of those 8 home games will be played in the first 2 weeks of the season. That means they're going to only have 6. From September 21st through the rest of the season, only 6 home games. And if they were to start 0-2 at the start of the season, I know it's speculatory.
Only 10% of teams that start 0-2 make the playoffs.
And these are high-quality teams coming into Lambeau Field to begin the season. The numbers will certainly shift based upon the Packers' performance. But if I'm looking at that as an odds maker, I'm hoping to myself that the money starts to tilt one direction or the other here at Potawatomi Sportsbook. If you split those games as a Packers fan, you're probably off to a decent start. Can't afford to go 0-2 at home when you only have 6 home games left the rest of the year.
And with all the leaks that there already are, those are already probably going into the odds makers' bookmaking and what they're putting the price at for the Packers to win a division or to win an over-under. It may move the juice a little bit, but I don't think it's moving from 9.5 to 10.5 based off what comes out from a scheduling standpoint. But it is interesting if you get the Detroit Lions on a Sunday to open up your season, and then a short week, it's sounding like a Thursday night game against the Commanders. They will also likely have 4 of 6 road games to end the season. 4 of 6. Now, if you like the frozen tundra and you like going to those games and bundling up and putting foot warmers in your shoes and doing all the tricks of the trade to stay warm, you're not going to have as many opportunities. But I like having, as a fan, those great, wonderful September and October, beautiful Lambeau Field games.
Oh, it's great at the Trio. You're hanging out, having a good time. It's nice and warm. No tent, no forced heaters, any of that kind of stuff. For what it's worth, I had the bye week in Week 7, October 19th, so that would not be an opportunity to gather at the Trio. Again, it's just my guess. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. Just a guess. Nothing more than a guess. I did guess that the Packers would play on Christmas Day. I don't believe that's going to be the case. No international games. We have a scheduled special coming up with Alex Strofe and Jason Wilde coming up at about 7 o'clock. Gabe Knight's going to hang out as well. Division finishing position as it stands right now on May 14th, 2025. Before the schedule is released, before day 1 of training camp or a single preseason game, division finishing position. This is kind of interesting as it pertains to the Packers. To finish first in the division right now is plus 275. To finish second is plus 175. To finish third is plus 300. To finish fourth is plus 375. Where's the best value right now at Potawatomi, given that it's May 14th and there's a lot of time before the regular season opens?
I don't even know if I can, there's no value in any of those numbers. I mean, this is a pure emotional play. If you think, is Josh DiMaggio, who joins the program most of the time when one of us are out, he talks about how when you look at these bets, right, and you look at how he builds parlays. If you do enough research, he likes to build it out how he feels like the game is going to, play out. And if he's right, he's got a better opportunity if he's got 3 guys on one team. So say for baseball, you have 3 guys to have 3 singles and they win 8-0, and he thought they were going to have a good hitting day because of the pitcher, then he has a better chance of winning that. For this, I think it's just too early to be able to be for me at least. Now, if you think you have without knowing where the schedule lands, if you think you know the Green Bay Packers so well that you think, I don't know, third place at plus 325 or whatever that is, I think the Vikings, despite J.J. McCarthy, showed that Kevin O'Connell can do something with quarterbacks that is special. The Lions still have the most talent in the NFC, so I still have them finishing third. If you think that, then go with it. You're basically betting on how good of an expert you think you are at knowing your team, which is a really, really dangerous game to play.
There is one line for an NFL regular season NFL game available for you to bet on here at Potawatomi Sportsbook. And that is the opening night matchup, the confirmed matchup reported earlier the week and made official. Eagles hosting the Cowboys. This game will be played September 4th. We already have a line for the opening game of the regular season, the only line available here at Potawatomi. Eagles -7 against the Cowboys. How early is too early to take a stab at that?
That is,
I actually like that
those are things I do get interested in, because I don't like to be an expert in how the whole season plays out. I like to be the expert on look ahead lines. If there was one year in which I nailed one and I flopped on the other, and it had to do with Wisconsin Badgers at the time. I got a look ahead line at a week 4 game against Michigan. And I was like, I don't know, I still think Michigan's fraudulent, and it was Michigan -3, Badgers +3. I hammered the Badgers +3. By the time it got to week 4, the Badgers were -5.5. So I had gained 8 to 9 points of value by betting it early. But if it doesn't play out the way I project, then I'm stuck with the Badgers +3. And if Michigan ends up being at home -7, I'm like, all right, well, I could have had +7 and I lost out on value. So it's risky, but it sure is fun, which I already see you getting that itch of saying, I like the Eagles.
I do.
-7. I feel it in your soul.
I really do. I kind of wish it were 6, but I really like it. I really like it at 7. It's just one of those numbers. 7, you see it as it pertains to football, and you think, boy, that half point is a big half point, right? But it's Eagles who are coming off a postseason which they just destroyed everybody, including the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs, against a Cowboys team that is reeling and always looks far better on paper than
Super Bowl hangover?
No, not
divisional game?
Not a night one at home, national TV, right? It's just different. It's different. That kind of stuff does happen on occasion, but to start the season, I don't know if you're feeling that hangover to start the season. I don't know.
The Patriots have lost some games week 1 after winning Super Bowls and still bounce back, but it is you show up and you think you're going to be sweet because you won a Super Bowl.
Oh, okay, fine. Well, if you're opening against the Bills or the Dolphins, sure, maybe you look at it a little different. In this case,
I get it. The Cowboys give people no reason to be like, hey, yeah, I want to be on that side come start of the season.
It's a division opponent, too. You can't afford to have a hangover week 1 against a divisional opponent. You can't. If that's the Jaguars, who knows? Maybe you lay an egg and aren't taking the opponent seriously, but it's still a division opponent, and that's a big deal. Total points for this game, 46.5. Hard for me to say whether that's a great line or not, given what the Eagles did last year. They might be able to put up 30. Could the Cowboys score 20-ish, somewhere in that neighborhood? Hard for me to say.
I
but
like the under there. I like the under a lot there. So
what gives you a pulse on that today?
What gives me a pulse is divisional games are usually you already know a lot about each other. It is week 1 and there are some changes. But if you know that you're going to be running the football with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, it's going to be more tick. It's going to be a long time of possession battle. And when you look at the 46 number, I'm like, well, like again, it's the week 1 first game. You think everyone's going to be crisp? You think everyone's going to be running the right routes correctly and not dropping a ball here or there? I lean more error week 1. Like there's just going to be some mistakes because you got to knock off the rust, especially when none of these players even play in the preseason anymore.
It becomes really the first real opportunity for the majority of these players on both sides of the ball.
Joint practices are not even close to what a real game feels like.
Jalen Hurts had, 2-3 interceptions in opening game last year in Brazil. They get 2 interceptions.
That's right.
He was off. He was terrible, right? Love was erratic. There were some big plays in that game.
Exactly. Now,
but it was kind of a mess.
That was a mess in which it turned out to be, I believe, turnovers in the Green Bay Packers side of the ball. So when they turned it over, there was more opportunity for the Packers to convert on those. I think they only got 2 field goals, though, right away off those turnovers.
That's right, but a very sloppy game, to your point, and you'll see that in the early going in the NFL. Lots more to get to here on the program, including some interesting NBA nuggets. Now that the draft is complete, the draft lottery is complete, we kind of have an idea where teams are going to be drafting. Could be some trades on the horizon as well. And is there value in any of the trailing teams left in the NBA playoffs? We'll get to that, and it's a huge week for golf. And I found some really interesting numbers that we'll get through here on the Weekly Wager. Just getting started here from Potawatomi Sportsbook. Hang with us. Greg and Ben till 7 o'clock.
More bets coming up. This is the Weekly Wager on 94.5 ESPN. The best source for every piece of NFL news you need to know.
The people there made it a really great trip. The people in Green Bay were really nice, like literally driving ESPN people around themselves.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter is on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Wednesday morning at 7:30. Sponsored by Island Resort and Casino.
The Pancake Palace in Green Bay was outstanding. So really nice trip.
On 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
It's happened again. Another local organization switching to business technology from James Imaging Systems. This time, it's St. Anne Center for Intergenerational Care. CFO Sally Parente.
We were unhappy with our previous vendor. It was always a big production. We also had some issues with pricing.
And now with James Imaging Systems,
the service, the value, and the ease with which we can just keep using their service and not having any big headaches. We're getting value here as well.
Just what you'd expect from James Imaging Systems, a 100% Wisconsin-owned and managed company. AI-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, and digital transformation.
I love that they're a local company. They've been a wonderful business partner for St. Anne Center.
Make the switch to James Imaging Systems. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Tournament host Steve Stricker joins a star-studded group of PGA Tour champions at the American Family Insurance Championship. Catch the action June 6th through the 8th with an exciting team competition and a new tournament home at TPC Wisconsin. This year's AmFam Champ concert features Megan Maroney with special guest Clint Black on Friday, June 6th at Bree Stevens Field. All proceeds support the Steve Stricker American Family Insurance Foundation and American Family Children's Hospital. Get your tickets today at amfamchampionship.com.
Slide into your neighborhood Century Food store to score the freshest produce, tastiest treats, and everything in between. Now through Wednesday, save on gallon selected varieties Prairie Farms white or chocolate milk, $3.99. 59 to 64 ounce selected varieties silk milk, 2 for $7. 6 to 9 count selected varieties Blue Bunny novelties, 2 for $7. 10 to 12 ounce or count selected varieties Green Mountain coffee, $5.99.
Let's get some strawberries.
Attention shoppers.
Safe.
Okay. Ooh, pineapple fulfills every need.
While you're shopping, a drive way back, it's a gunner.
There's something goofy going on with the PA.
Need a price check and I'll take me out to the ball game.
See, what is going on?
You're hearing things. We're at Century Foods, and you can't take your mind off winning that ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes.
I'm hoping to throw out the first pitch at a Milwaukee baseball game.
Or attend batting practice.
Or hold the finish line ribbon for the racing sausages.
You don't say.
The ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes at Century Foods. Enter on Century's Facebook or Instagram by July 30th.
Hey, it's Kyle Walsh for Universal Windows Direct. May is officially the kickoff to home improvement season, and now is the time to tackle those big projects you've been putting off. Right now, during the home improvement season sale, you'll get an incredible 50% off your windows. But it gets even better. For a limited time, you'll get no interest and no payments for 12 months, and you'll receive a free entry door with your window purchase. Call 414-410-2000 or visit universalwindowsdirect.com to schedule your free in-home estimate today.
Whether you're about to graduate high school or have been in the workforce for years, it's time to take control of your future. Welcome to Lakeland University, where you call the shots. We use our flexible learning formats to customize your degree path. In-person, online, and virtual classes are all available. Lakeland University is designed around you, your goals, your schedule, your future. You can even earn up to 25% of your degree via paid work experiences. Ready to take control of your future? Let us customize an education to fit your needs. Visit lakeland.edu/ESPN to learn more.
This is the Weekly Wager live from Potawatomi Sportsbook on 94.5 ESPN and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Greg Metz and Ben Brust. It's the Weekly Wager here on 94.5 ESPN. We've got schedule release special coming out at 7 o'clock with Alex Strofe, Gabe Neitzel, Jason Wilde will join. By then, we will have a full unveiling of the Packers' regular season schedule. They're going to be undefeated again. Every time I do the exercise of will they win this one, will they lose this one, I yield an undefeated record. That would be quite the thing if they did it. But 9.5 wins, the over-under here at Potawatomi Sportsbook for the Packers win total. So the NBA is rolling on here. A couple of games tonight. In fact, Knicks and Celtics just getting underway. 2 elimination games tonight. I'm intrigued by the elimination game lines. You've got the Knicks on the road at Boston, where the Celtics have lost Jason Tatum now for maybe a year, right? Similar to a Damian Lillard kind of injury. Yet Boston is 4.5-point favorites. I feel like the Knicks have been overlooked throughout the postseason, with the exception of the majority of their opening round series. Meanwhile, the Minnesota Timberwolves are 10.5-point favorites over Golden State. Now, the one difference, they've got a home game. But you're talking about a star missing from Boston and a star missing from Golden State. Yet Boston is somehow 4.5-point favorites in an elimination game on their home floor. And Minnesota, 10.5-point favorites in an elimination game on their own home floor.
Minnesota's just better.
They are better, no doubt.
Like they're just better. They're more complete. They have a true star right now. Jimmy Butler is a great player, and he was a great complement to Steph Curry. But there's no doubt in my mind that this is the right line, and I would lean on taking Minnesota minus 10.5. And I also I'm not shocked by the Celtics. They're still the defending champions. This is still an elimination game with championship caliber players in a team that has guys that played in the Derek White and Drew Holiday were on the U.S. Olympic team. Jaylen Brown, you could say, was snubbed, but he will have an opportunity to shine without Jason Tatum. Al Horford is not just, he's been there for 15 years. I think he's just going to lay down and die. Not 15 years, obviously came there after Atlanta. You get my point. So the Knicks have yet to do it. And until you do it, you still have to pay respect to the home team that has championship in their DNA, and guys that have a lot of pride that aren't just going to lay down just because it's an elimination game and because they lost one of their star players.
It felt like a full-on celebration at Madison Square Garden. When I turned that game on the other night and I saw all the handshakes and high fives and bro hugs that were happening, it felt to me like if you just turned on that game and had no idea, had not seen a minute of that series, it felt to me like the Knicks had won that series.
Absolutely.
That's what it looked like.
7th Street looked like it was the celebration of an NBA championship, not getting to an elimination game.
Right. So they hadn't won anything yet aside of that individual game. It put them in position here to win tonight, of course, and to advance. I'm a little surprised. I do think the Knicks are being a little bit overlooked. They had a great regular season. They were not a team I wanted the Bucks to square off with in round number 1. Turns out the Pacers were all the Bucks could handle. In fact, the Bucks could not handle the Indiana Pacers. So it's been a nice season here for the Knicks, and they've got star appeal as well. That not as seasoned as Boston. I get that. But I feel like a 4.5-point dog Even though it's a road team in an elimination game, that feels like you're overlooking the Knicks a little bit.
I don't think it's overlooking. I think it's just paying respect to the team that won the NBA championship last year, and they're at home. Like, it's not like they're on the road at the Garden again. It's not like they're 10-point favorites. They're 4.5-point favorites. I think that's plenty of respect to the Knicks. You're still looking at Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, and the sixth man of the year, Peyton Pritchard, coming off the bench, who can spark the team with an upped role. He's got the capability to do so. And again, I'm not saying that the Celtics are going to win this game, but I would probably pick the side of the Celtics, even though it's the loss of Jason Tatum, because there's so much talent and pride still within this team. And if we're being honest, Jason Tatum finally started playing well down the stretch before his Achilles. The Celtics are full of dudes still without Jason Tatum. Now, could they win a championship the rest of the way without him? No, but we're still talking about one elimination game, not just lying down and dying without any pride with a home game against a team that hasn't been. The Knicks haven't won a final since 1970, whatever. I think it's 73. Like, why are we acting like the Knicks because they won a couple games at the Garden and they stole a couple games at the other Garden are just like they should be favored here?
So we've seen some massive shifting in the numbers to win it all. And you're going to have that anytime a team is eliminated, especially a team like the Cavaliers, who last time we were doing this program were kind of just getting going with their series with the Pacers. When the Pacers outclassed Cleveland, they are gone. What a shock. Another Cleveland team falls apart. The one number that really hasn't changed here is Oklahoma City is still the odds-on favorite to win it all. Minus 139 here at Potawatomi Sportsbook. I'm going to run through the rest of the teams still left in it. Share the numbers with you. Let me know what you think. The Minnesota Timberwolves are plus 500 to win it all. The Knicks are also plus 500 to win it all. Then Indiana at plus 600. Boston plus 2,500. Denver plus 3,000. Golden State plus 25,000. Therein lies the gulf between Minnesota and Golden State. One is plus 500 to win it all. One is plus 25,000 to win it all. And those teams will meet up tonight in Minneapolis.
Ooh, man.
Boston at plus 2,500 is interesting based upon the points you've just made.
No, but based on the points I just made was more so for the game today. I don't think they have the legs to actually get it done throughout the rest of the playoffs. Man, Denver lost a close one. But if I had $5 laying around, I'm taking Jokic. Like the team is not as good. But they are a championship, again, caliber team with an all-class, all-world player. Whew, that one's intriguing to me just to throw a flyer on there. I'm trying not to get too caught into the Timberwolves because I love watching Anthony Edwards so much that I think I'm becoming biased to how much I want to see the success of Anthony Edwards in the NBA. Golly, if you made me choose, and I at paysbig.com/sportsbook, I only have the Western Conference. I'm probably going. Oh my gosh, Knicks Pacers. That series is going to be amazing. I don't have an Eastern Conference value.
You don't. Nothing.
From my mind goes to the West because there's more knowns. We're talking about a Pacers team to try and win a championship. I think they're fun, and I love watching them play. And then the same goes for the Knicks. I'm talking about a team that hasn't won a championship in 50 years. That's hard to do. Do they have enough depth? Do they run out of gas like every Tom Thibodeau team does because he plays them 40-plus minutes a game, and then they're just dead when they have to go against a deeper team? I'm scared of picking a team from the East to win the NBA championship. I would probably ride with either OKC or Minnesota. I'd probably go with Minnesota from a plus money standpoint because I have not been super impressed with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander down the stretch of games.
So let's pare it back a little bit. Of the teams currently trailing, which is most likely to pull off a series win?
Denver.
Here are the numbers. Denver is plus 900
I know.
to pull off a series win. Golden State plus 1,900. Boston plus 470. Again, without Jason Tatum, that certainly hurts. Though they're on their own home floor tonight. Denver at plus 900 jumped off the page to me. It leapt off the page. And it's recency bias. I get what Boston has done, but I also understand who they're missing long term. But Denver at plus 900, there are times I watch Denver and I feel like this is still the team to beat, right? This is still the team to beat. How do you stop them? And Oklahoma City can kind of turn it on as well. These things happen in stages, and that's why I'm so intrigued by Oklahoma City and Minnesota just long-term here, because they've been in the playoffs, had the early exit. Been in the playoffs, made a little bit of noise, and then exited the playoffs. Well, now they keep inching up in that right direction, right? The Bucks did this as well. It happens a lot, especially in the NBA. Denver has already been there before and won it. The team they're playing has not, but they've done all the things to get themselves ready for this point, right? That's why this, I think, is a very intriguing series. Got a little coaching drama with Denver as well. But Denver at plus 900 really is intriguing to me, so much as the plus 3,000 to win it all.
I probably would lean more to win the series at plus 900 than to win it all.
Okay.
If I had to choose one of the Denver bets, I'm stretching myself a little deeper than I want on them to win it all, because I do believe in the other two teams a little bit more, which I guess if that would obviously eliminate one of the teams, I still like Minnesota over them. And maybe that's my Anthony Edwards bias, because Julius Randle's playing so well. I love teams with defined roles, and when you watch teams that play selfless, it pops off the page. Julius Randle's getting rebounds. If he needs to score a night, he'll score 28. But if he needs to be the triple-double guy, he's putting up numbers, and he skies for rebounds. He's like a man out there getting in the paint, and when he collapses that defense, he's kicking out to guys that are knocking down threes.
Well, he is destroying Draymond Green, too. He is absolutely destroying.
Showing how old and slow Draymond has become.
Did you ever guard Julius Randle in a switch? You ever get stuck on him?
Believe it or not, he is the main reason why my career ended in Dallas against Kentucky. It was his last year before going into the draft, and I don't think I was ever switched on to him, but I was definitely under the rim trying to get a rebound, looking like a little kid trying to grab a ball out of their dad's hands when they're reaching it above the sky.
Yeah, he seems like a tough guy to move around down there. Just my casual observation.
Gosh, was he strong, and could he jump really fast off the ground.
Hey, it's a big week in golf. Coming up next, the PGA Championship going to get underway on Thursday. There's some really interesting things you can do here at Potawatomi Sportsbook. We're going to dive into it after this.
We're back talking bets after this on the Weekly Wager on 94.5 ESPN.
It's one call, that's all with Gruber Law Offices. If your loved one is ever injured in an accident, do not hesitate to make one call, that's all to Gruber Law Offices, because they stand up for victims and they take the burden off your shoulders. They focus on the legal aspect while you can focus on healing. And not only do they do that, they also provide the best care, and there is no fee until they win your case. Call them today at 414-276-6666 or visit them at gruber-law.com.
Tailgate season, company victory party, don't let your event fall short. V Private Bar Services delivers the winning play with expertise. We're talking custom cocktails, top shelf service, and an atmosphere that'll have your team pumped. Forget the watered down beer and basic mixers. Get the VIP treatment for your corporate events with bartenders who know the perfect pour. V Private Bar Services, where elevated hospitality runs through our veins. Explore vprivatebar.com and leave the mixing to us.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC.
It started with a prediction.
Go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
When having new Pella windows and doors installed at your home, you get the full Pella experience. That means we're with you from start to finish. Our team doesn't disappear after the work is done. Just like with Vinny, your Pella experience starts with a free in-home consultation.
It was a really comfortable kitchen table chat. We knew Pella was going to get it right the first time, and they designed a project with us. They didn't just replace our windows and doors.
With customizations driving limitless possibilities, our Pella experts truly listen to your vision, just as we did with Nicole.
I felt like they really listened to us. There are so many options that are available, so it was nice to have someone narrow those down, offer some suggestions, and they made sure that the design was what we wanted.
Don't wait any longer, because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get 0% financing for up to 6 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 5/31/2025.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority. They are your premium provider for eye care and corrective eye surgeries. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. Dr. Nausheen Abbas joined the Holtebeck Eye Center team last September, and her practice philosophy is to provide patient-centered medicine by giving all options. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol. Learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
This is Kevin Moret from Mentality. Every day is a silent competition, and with testosterone dropping 1% annually, you're fighting an uphill battle. Your colleagues notice when you lose your edge, your partner senses when your confidence wavers, and without addressing low T, you're set up to fail. No willpower can overcome this hormonal deficit. Mentality's FDA-approved treatments have shown a 30% increase in testosterone levels. Don't let low T define you. Reclaim your power at mentalityhealth.com/radio. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio.
You're listening to the Weekly Wager live from Potawatomi Sportsbook on 94.5 ESPN and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
PGA Championship gets started on Thursday from Quail Hollow, and one thing you got to remember about all the majors here is that you get to incorporate the live golfers. So these 4 tournaments out of the year, the likes of John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau and others come back and play with the guys he used to play with. So pretty full field, as you might expect it, golf's second major of the year. And there are so many interesting things to do here, Ben. I'm not sure if you get down with golf as kind of like on the majors or the big tournaments or how you do it, if you pay much attention to it. But you can slice and dice golf pretty much any way imaginable here at Potawatomi Sportsbook. And I love that because it's 4 rounds of tournaments. You can go by group. You can go by individual. You can go by leaders after each round. There's all sorts of different ways to bet on it.
I love watching every single major, but that makes it really hard to win. I feel like if you're going to win in golf, there's core styles that fit different players. There's a little bit of some trends you'd like to see guys playing well, and it is golf, right? Like there are times when somebody's not playing well and they shoot in the top 10. You're like, I didn't expect that guy to be here, and he is. But I do feel like, based off the way that the odds are laid out to me, when you got Rory and Scotty basically neck and neck, which is very similar to what it was for the Masters, then you have Bryson and Xander Schauffele, Justin Thomas, John Rahm. All 6 of those names are pretty household if you're a golf fan, right? Everyone's going to know those names, and I think if you're a casual golf fan, all of them have won majors except, I believe, Xander Schauffele. So I would probably stay away from Xander Schauffele here. I think Justin Thomas is an intriguing one. He's had a resurgence going back to the end of 2024. Just reading around, it seems like this fits his style of play, and like when you think about it, he also won at Quail Hollow in 2017. So that's one of those things you look at, is at a guy that's had success at the course, even if it wasn't a major at the time. I'm going Scotty, man. He's in the mix every single week, and if I'm gonna get him plus 500 and he's not the odds-on favorite, I'm taking Scotty.
It's okay to be boring.
I'm
okay
boring, man. Like, Scotty's my guy, and Scotty's top 5. He was 30 under par plus the other week. Like that's how good that guy is. He is competitive every single week. And if I'm going to place a bet in golf in something that I don't watch all the time but can follow along, I'm going to pick the guy that's the world number one with the second best odds to win over the guy that I think people want to win a second major because they want this to be Rory's resurgence after he went away for a while from winning majors.
I want to correct you on Xander real quick because he did win 2 majors in 2024.
Gosh, that's
He won 2 majors, including the PGA Championship, though it was at a different course. That was at Valhalla.
I always just thought, and this is my golf knowledge, that it was just unbelievable that the first Olympics ever they had golf, that he won the gold medal for the USA.
He can play, right? And
I know
he's got a little bit of major skins on his resume now, too. For
either way, my point still remains: all 6 at the top are household names that you will see and recognize and know that, like, it's pretty top heavy. You're going to have to reach to find a winner.
So those names aren't going to change if you were to look ahead to the Open Championship.
Maybe a little because of the style of course out in Europe.
It's interesting. You're going to see the big names at or near the top of the list in terms of odds and what you got to do. So Rory to win the PGA Championship is plus 450. Scotty Scheffler, as you mentioned, is plus 500. Bryson DeChambeau is plus 800. Xander Schauffele is plus 1,600. There is a bet here at Potawatomi Sportsbook that I find interesting. It's to win players not named Rory or Scotty. Now Bryson DeChambeau's odds go from plus 800 if you include those other 2 golfers to plus 600 if you take Rory out of the mix, if you take Scotty out of the mix. Plus 600 for Bryson to win, plus 1,200 for Xander, plus 1,200 for Justin Thomas. Player to win not named Rory or Scotty. You can do that here. You can also select a player you think will win or lead after any round, at the completion of any round. If you wanted Rory to do, if you thought Rory was going to be the leader after round 1, 2, 3, or 4, he is plus 250 on the yes side. He is minus 400 on the no side. This is where I love Bryson DeChambeau at plus 350.
Ooh.
Because he is a classic front runner. Get out, throw that 8 under par out there, and then hold on mercifully, try anyway, and he's going to get lapped by somebody. Others are going to get him in the long game. But he is most likely, in my opinion, to jump out and grab an early first-round lead. So I like Bryson at plus 350 to lead after any round completed, or tie. Plus 350 Bryson on the yes. I really like that.
I think that's intriguing as I look, and because I also like to look at the top 5. Excuse me. The really good fries. I was stupid and didn't wash them down.
You took one of mine.
Yeah, it was very crunchy, very good. Always great food here at Potawatomi Sportsbook. Justin Thomas, top 5, plus 400. I can get behind that. But if I can throw 50 down to win 200 on a Justin Thomas top 5, the way that he's played well at the course, I think he'll be in the mix. So I'm like, yeah, I can get behind that. Scotty, even plus 125 top 5. I'm for those are my guys. Justin Thomas and Scotty Scheffler. I'm going down with those 2.
If those are negative, are you still riding it?
No.
If Scheffler is minus
no, because there's too many variabilities in golf, man. You can fall out of it and get yourself back in the mix, but if you fall out of it too far, then you're taking if he's top 5 minus money, I don't want to be laying money on one bad round can not ruin his tournament. He still could get a top 10, battle back, make some money, but not win the thing. But I'm losing my bet if he has just one bad day. And he's going to be fine. He always recovers. He's always in the mix, but he will be in the mix enough in a major where it heightens, obviously, the competition.
So here's another interesting thing you can do. On the line here at Potawatomi Sportsbook, you can go group by group and pick the winner of each playing group. And each playing group and the players within that playing group have their own set of numbers. For example, Rory, Xander, and Scotty Scheffler. That is a group.
That's a fun group.
They will be teeing off together, playing round 1 side by side, round 1 and round 2. So the best score in round 1 among playing groups, I picked the 2 most intriguing in my opinion. Rory, Xander, and Scotty, that's off the charts incredible. Rory at plus 145 to win his group, which is pretty amazing because his odds to win the tournament are plus 450. But his own group is stacked. Xander is plus 270 to have the best score after round 1. Scotty Scheffler is plus 145. How do you separate Rory and Scotty? The odds makers say you don't, and that's why they have the same numbers.
Say you don't. you're picking out of a hat of who has the best first day. You'd really have to be looking at weather forecasts, and then you're getting really deep. Who's the better player? If it's like I'm looking at Twitter, I see Michael Kim walking the course, giving the conditions in the practice rounds of the fairways are a little bit wet, the greens aren't as firm yet, and then you start getting into, you got to go really deep into the playing styles and who it favors and greens in regulation, who's good from getting up and down. If it's more firm and likely to roll off, if it's less firm, who's the better putter. That is beyond my scope of the knowledge for PGA Quill Hallow.
It's really interesting. Another interesting group here, I think, is Brooks Koepka, Ricky Fowler, and Shane Lowry, who has a pretty decent shot here to be in the top 5. Lowry plus 138 to have the best score after round 1 out of his group. Ricky Fowler plus 240. Brooks Koepka plus 160. I don't believe in Koepka. I just don't feel like it's kind of been downhill since his wins at Erin Hills. Had an incredible year, no doubt. And then it's been a little inconsistent with his move over to Live. Fowler has surged over the last couple of years. Lowry always seems to be in the mix at majors. That's another intriguing group. And regardless if you're going to bet on it or not, those are just fun groups to watch.
Of
right?
course.
Get some drama out of it. Get some cuss words under your breath out of that. Some flair with Ricky. That's good stuff.
Hopefully you have a second monitor at work.
You might need that. If you really want to get ahead of yourself, the Ryder Cup is coming September 28th at Bethpage Black. USA is minus 137 today at Potawatomi Sportsbook to win it. Europe is plus 138 to win it. A tie plus 1,200. That can't happen in the Ryder Cup. I don't think it should, but that can happen.
Is that where the tie would still go back to the previous winner, though?
Well, fine, whatever, but whatever. It's a tie. It's ridiculous. I like the USA on this, winning on the home soil, minus 137.
I will never, ever, 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 and I can say ever till forever, ever bet against the USA team. It's not in my DNA. It's not in my blood.
Especially on home soil when it looks really, really good.
I don't care where it is. I don't care what Olympics it is. I'm betting USA on anything that's big.
Coming up on the other side, boy, the Brewers' numbers are starting to slip here a little bit in the wrong direction. There is one total that we are really keeping our eye on. How do we feel about it today? We'll explain along with our best bets coming up after this.
More bets coming up. This is the Weekly Wager on 94.5 ESPN. With Wilde and Tausch, you won't miss a play.
And now, unless there's a big boy trade coming that I don't see on the horizon, Green Bay is going to run this thing back and probably pick up an early round draft pick to add to that room.
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
And you hope that these other guys will emerge and can add, but I don't see them making a J.R. Ewing type change.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Freddie Coleman.
You just never know when opportunity is going to be there. But when it happens, no matter if it's personal, professional, whatever that is, you better be able to make sure you answer that door and the opportunity knocks. You have to wonder how many knocks at the door that Donovan Mitchell of the Cleveland Cavaliers is going to get. Many people believe that this could potentially be the year to at least get to the conference finals in the East when they had the best record in the East, even though many people believe that the Boston Celtics would beat the Cleveland Cavaliers when both of those teams got to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics are probably not going to get there down 3-1 to the Knicks. And once again, Donovan Mitchell on a basketball team that fought it hard but came up short, losing in 5 games to the Indiana Pacers. Even he said in the post-game press conference that he knows people are going to talk bleep about him, and that's going to give him fuel. Fuel is great, and there's nothing less than having that if you're a great player like Donovan Mitchell. But so many times, you'll get a lot of bite of that apple. That does mean the apple's still going to be there in full effect for you to finally break through and get to where you want to go. In 60 seconds, now or never for the late Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small, loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets
in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
So MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred, anybody that was on the ban list, well, they now are no longer part of that ban list, which means that eligibility for the Hall of Fame is going to increase. So, yeah, Shoeless Joe Jackson, the Black Sox in 1919, after that many years of no longer being here on planet Earth, is off that list. It was that one name that passed away recently that has everybody's attention. Of course, we're talking about old Charlie Hustle himself, Pete Rose, the all-time leader in hits and games played and plate appearances and at-bats, and for my money, made the most notorious baseball figure in the history of the sport when it comes to his greatness on the field, but what he did by betting on games as a manager and having that keeping him off the field and out of Major League Baseball. Now, he won't come up for induction till about 2 years from now when a special committee gets together to decide on that. Either way, if you think it's going to be easy for Pete Rose to get in now, you may be sadly mistaken and sadly disappointed. For the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio's Freddie and Harry.
Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a must-play every golf season. Wild Rock Golf features championship golf in the heart of Wisconsin. Wild Rock, a Herdston Fry masterpiece that's cut from the natural beauty of the Wisconsin Dells and offers stunning views from elevated tee boxes. Wild Rock presents spectacular greens that roll fast and true. Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a unique gem that offers a challenge to avid golfers of all abilities. Book your tee time today for this must-play at wildrockgolf.com, wildrockgolf.com.
This is the Weekly Wager live from Potawatomi Sportsbook on 94.5 ESPN and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Wrapping up the Weekly Wager from Potawatomi Sportsbook, Greg Matzik and Ben Brust, a fine American, sitting next to me here. As we settle in here for the NFL schedule reveal and a special program coming up here following this program. Alex Strofe, Jason Wilde, Gabe Neitzel going through the Packers schedule. It's starting to get leaked out here almost in full. So there'll be quite a bit to react to. From what I've seen and what I pieced together and my prediction of the schedule here for the Packers, my mock schedule, I kind of like mine better, if I'm being perfectly candid. I think it sets up for the Packers better. But nonetheless, we'll see what the final dust settling is here on the Packers schedule coming up in about 10-15 minutes.
I mean, should we just leak it all? I have the whole thing in front of me before they go.
Why not? Yeah, go for it if you want.
No.
Okay,
I'll leave it to them.
They are not opening up against the Carolina Panthers at home. That's what I had suggested in my mock schedule. I liked that. Carolina at home, week 1. But that's not going to be the case.
The trends have been bigger games in week 1.
Well, you would think. I do remember one random year where the Packers opened up in Jacksonville against just an awful Jaguars team the year after they went to the NFC Championship game. That never made any sense to me, and it's part of why you can only apply so much logic to try to create one of these schedules. You know that they're not going to face a team who played in London the week after that team played in London, because that team is going to have a bye week, unless it's the Minnesota Vikings, who will have consecutive games overseas. Who, again, would have predicted that? That's not an easy thing to do. But nonetheless, my fruitless exercise, once again, going by the wayside here. I think I maybe got one right. Nonetheless.
The only thing I hate about this schedule that I will say is the bye week. A week 5 bye week.
Little early. That's about as early as you're going to get.
As early as you're going to get, and they have a lot of divisional games after the bye week. They play the Lions, and that's the only divisional game pre-bye, which means you have 5 divisional opponents, and then you play the Eagles, the Vikings, the Ravens at home. It's a lot of tough games after a bye.
Yeah, it's a lot of birds.
As well as I didn't even mention the road games, which are just tough as is. I mean, road games aren't easy by any stretch of the means, but it's an. You know what I like about it is I think we're going to learn a lot about a young team that has an opportunity to prove how much they've been able to grow from the last 2 years of experience.
All those details coming up for you in about 8 minutes here on 94.5 ESPN. All right, the Brewers are starting to slip a little bit here. So last weekend we were looking at the numbers here, the National League Central, to win the NL Central. And the Brewers were in that plus 475 area. I think it was plus 475 for back-to-back weeks. It is now plus 900 as the Cubs have stayed hot. They've been playing well, no doubt.
Gosh,
minus
they
385. Yeah, the Cardinals
Pains
last
me.
I looked had won like 9 straight games, so they're now plus 650 to win the division. Brewers have kind of hovered around 500 really all year long.
I made fun of Dansby Swanson the last 2 years about how he was near the Mendoza line. Now the guy's got an OPS over 750, and he's having a great 3 weeks. Like, their weakest link is now playing so well that it pains me as I'm watching the Brewers come up to bat with, first and second, one out, and you're rolling Caleb Durbin. Look, he's young, he's getting an opportunity, but like, if you want to be competitive, you got to have some guys in the back of the order that are hitting. Another one, obviously, Joey Ortiz. It's just tough to watch the back end of the lineup for the Brewers right now with their inability to produce runs and opportunities for RBI situations, and also get on base for the top of the order. Rhys Hoskins has been a godsend. He is playing the best of any Brewer right now. Churrio's kind of been okay. Contreras had a good day, but he's been okay. And ultimately, your star's not starring. Yelich isn't playing like a guy when you saw the bombs in spring training and everyone's saying, put bubble wrap around him. There's no reason to put bubble wrap around him. If anything, let's get something out of you. It's just there's not enough right now from this team. And what's sad is you could make an argument that even with Quintana going on the IL again for at least 15 days, I believe, the pitching staff is doing enough to keep you in ball games. They're losing too many close ball games with a decimated pitching staff, and that kills you when you have opportunities early when you're not having a full pitching staff early in the season. The goal was, if they were able to hang on, they're just not giving me a lot of confidence that they have a deep enough lineup. Jake Bauers needs to be in the lineup every day. Every day. We're trying to do too many cute things right now with guys and opportunities. You need the producers to just continue to produce. Run them to the ground right now because you don't want to lose too much. We're getting to the point now where you're getting 25-ish% of the way through the season. You don't want to be playing catch-up once you get to 35, 40, and then you're like, all right, everyone's too far. It's been frustrating. I think the highlights of watching the games on TV when I'm not listening to 620 WTMJ is a cribbage board right now that's being given out by our sister station that you're on, 620 WTMJ. Jeff Levering is exciting me about the cribbage board, and that's bad. That's the most it's great. Jeff's great at telling us about the cribbage board. I want to be more excited about the play on the field.
84.5, the number we're looking at here for the Brewers over/under win total. Best bet, what do you got?
My best bet is an over-under tonight in baseball. I like when I can find a couple of pitchers. The Dodgers and Padres, Kyle Hendricks stinks. Give me the over 9 in that game.
Sounds good. I like Minnesota at minus 10.5. The underdogs go out with a statement win and end the year for the Golden State Warriors. Out of time. Thanks to Chris Larson for producing the program and the folks at Potawatomi for hosting us each and every week on the Weekly Wager. For Ben Brust, I'm Greg Matzik. Packers schedule reveal coming up next year on 94.5 ESPN.
At Grunberg Offices,